everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Rhonda and I'm also known as the Sparkly One. I got this as a gift from my son's girlfriend Caitlin for Christmas. Isn't it so fun? I think that when you are a YouTuber and you hit 100,000 subscribers, they send you a play button. I don't know if they send it before that or not, but I hit 20,000 subscribers and this came at a perfect time. So I just love it and I am just so thrilled, and this is even more special to me that they would think of me at Christmas and give me such a special gift when they know that I would really appreciate it. And I just really love this pillow. I think it's so cute. So you should probably be seeing this in all my videos. So don't forget to subscribe if you're new to my channel, okay? So I would love for you to join me. In this video, I am using the Hurricane 100% acrylic yarn by Hobby Yarns, and it is just gorgeous. It's so soft and just beautiful. And I'm gonna say this is probably a size 2 or a 3 yarn. It's not quite a 4 like a worsted weight, but it's nice and thin, which is perfect for this shawl. And this has 200 grams or 350 meters. So I am going to use the whole ball of yarn, providing this video works out, because converting it from millimeters to yards is a little difficult, but I did realize that this is probably going to be exactly enough. So make sure that you test your gauge. Personally, for me, I did not test my gauge. On the website for the pattern that I'm going to show you, this pattern shows the gauge and everything, so make sure that you do your due diligence and you measure for yourself. So I don't want to be responsible for that. So anyway, I recommend having extra yarn if you need it. So if you're going to buy the Hobby yarn, you might want to just get 2, because it is a beautiful yarn and you'll use it for many things if you don't have, if you have much more than you need. So it's better to err on the side of caution and buy more than you need. And we all know that we have plenty of yarn in our stash. So here we go. So this is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. I'm going to be using size 7 straight needles to show you the pattern, but I will be changing over to circular needles. So here is my needle, and it's approximately 14 inches long, or if you use centimeters, then this is about 35.5 centimeters long. I will be switching over to circular needles. This is how far I've gotten on the project so far. I just wanted to show you this is what it should look like after, I don't know how many rows I have. But this pattern is really simple once you figure it out. So I did have to take it out a few times to figure it out, but you know, it wasn't a big deal. So isn't that beautiful? The Hobby yarns are just so soft and wonderful and beautiful. I just love them. So you only need 7 stitches. If you don't know how to measure for the stitches, what you do is you take your yarn and you just wrap it around. So if you need 7 stitches, you're gonna wrap it 7 times. And that will give you enough yarn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7. But if you say you needed 20 stitches, you just count up to 20, and that's how much you need. So that's a good trick because it really works well. So I only need 7. So somewhere in that range. I'm going to make my slip knot, and then go ahead and put on 7 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Just like that. Okay, so you need a stitch marker, so make sure you get that. And you are just going to, this is the easy part, and it gets a little tricky, but you know, you can totally do this. This is probably an intermediate. I am a beginner and I'm figuring it out, but I think you could do it if you're a beginner too, as long as you follow the directions. And hopefully my video will help you. So we are going to knit 4 stitches. Make sure you tighten that first one. It always seems to be a little tricky. So there's 2, 3. Whoops, the yarn's splitting already. 3 and 4. Okay, and at this point you're just going to take your marker and slide it right on, and you're going to knit 3. So 1, 2, 3. And you definitely need a stitch counter for this, or a piece of paper. So let me show you the piece of paper that I am writing all of mine on. Here it is. So I didn't have any graph paper, so this is how I am doing it. So what I'm doing is I did the setup row, which is a knit 4, place marker, knit 3, and I checked that off. Then row 1, you're going to have a repeat of 8 rows. This is the increased portion of the shawl. So you're going to round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and on rows 2, 4, and 6, you're going to knit all those rows. You're going to repeat this pattern right here 29 times. So you need some sort of a way to keep track of how many times you are going to be doing those rows. Now, what I did on my piece of paper, and because I'm a beginner and I'm not really great with figuring out how to do this yet, and if you have any good suggestions, please let me know. And I just labeled this 1 through 29. And I just rewrote the pattern right here so it was a little more simpler, because I was looking at it on my phone. So it's probably best to print out the pattern and then read it from the pattern. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that, because you do have to keep track and make sure that you pay attention, because it can get like I said, it can be a little tricky. That's my favorite word, tricky. You can get this pattern on premieryarns.com, and the pattern is so beautiful. It's called the Sierra Sideways Shawl, and it uses 738 yards of yarn, and they give you beautiful yarn suggestions on their website. And they also are using a size 7 knitting needle, which I'm showing you, and it says straight needles. Now, of course, you can use what you are comfortable with. So I'm using the Hobby Yarn and the Premier Yarns pattern. It was beautiful. But there are lots of patterns on the Hobby website for you to look at, and they have beautiful patterns as well. So whatever you decide to use the Hobby Yarn on, it's always going to be a good idea, because Hobby Yarns are beautiful, and so are Premier, but today we're using the Hobby. So here we go. So for row 1, you are going to always slip this first stitch right here, and you're going to slip it purlwise. So you're always going to slip that first stitch purlwise, and then you're always going to be knitting 1 stitch before the marker. So no matter where you are with that marker, you always stop 1 stitch before. Then you're going to yarn over. You're going to knit in the back loop only, and then you're going to slip that off. Then you slip your marker over. You're going to knit 2, 1, 2, yarn over, and knit the last 2, 1, 2. And what you're making is a lacy border right here. So this side here with the 4 stitches is going to be the side of the border. So let me show you, because this is where I kept getting confused. So when you're laying your work down like this, this is your border, this little scallop edge right here. It's so pretty, this lacy border right here. So if you look at this, this is the back side of your work. And once we start on the other side, this is the portion right here. So we're starting the pattern from this little lacy piece right here. Okay. This is row 2. And what you're gonna do is you're always gonna knit row 2, okay? So 2, 4, and 6, they're all knitted. So go ahead and knit across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, slip, we'll slip your marker, and then knit to the end. So you're knitting all the way across. This is the back side. There we go. Okay. Don't forget to check off your little boxes, okay? So make sure that you do that. Again, you have to check these off and make sure that you do it one by one. So row 1, you're going to want to, row 1 you would have checked right here. Well, actually up here. Row 1, first check mark. Row 2, second check mark. Now we're on row 3. So row 3 is you're going to, remember, always slip the first stitch purlwise. And then I switch my hands. I'm a little klutzy on this because I haven't been doing it that long. And then I'm going to knit until I reach 1 stitch left before the marker, yarn over, knit in the back loop or back of the stitch, place your marker onto the other side, and then on this one you are going to knit 3, 1, 2, 3, yarn over, and knit the last 2. Now you'll start to see the pattern develop and you'll get into the rhythm of it after the first, couple times you repeat the pattern. So just kind of figure it out, and it's really not that difficult. You just kind of have to make sure that you check off those check marks. Okay, so now we have row 4, and row 4 is all knitted. So this is the back side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is done corner to corner, so it's always going to be growing until we get to a certain point, and then we're going to be decreasing. Okay, so that was row 4. Now we are on row 5. This is row 5, and you're going to slip, well, you can grab this, slip purlwise, knit until you get to 1 stitch before the marker, right here, and you're going to yarn over through the back loop. You're going to knit. You're going to switch your marker over to this other, this other needle. Then you're going to knit 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's not it. Back up. When you make a mistake, this is how you take it off. Okay, so you're going to, there we go. Then you're going to knit 2, 1, 2. You're going to yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2. So we're coming along, keep going. Okay, so then this is row 6, and with row 6 you're just going to knit all the way across. So I will speed this up, and I have row 6, I have 2 more rows to go. Okay. Okay, there we go. We're going to flip our work. And this is row 7. Again, you're going to knit purlwise and knit to the stitch before the marker. And it's going to be different every time because you're always increasing. So you just have to make sure you stop before, right here. Yarn over, back loop, knit, switch this over here. And for this one, you are going to knit 3. 1, 2, 3. Then you yarn over and you knit 2 together. Yarn over, knit 2. And there it is, looking good. Okay, so then you're gonna switch, get this marker fixed. There we go. This is row 8. And so on row 8, you're gonna bind off 4 stitches. So you're gonna bind off as to knit. So to bind off, you're gonna take 2 knit stitches, pass one over the other. Oops, just like that. My yarn is getting out of control. Again, you're going to yarn over, pass it over. That's 2, 3, 4. And then you're going to knit across. 1, 2. And on this row, just so you know, you're always going to just want 4 stitches here. If you have more than 4 stitches on row 8, then you have to make sure that you bind off enough stitches here because you need 4 on this side. And then you're just going to knit across. There you go. So this is rows 1 through 8. Rows 1 through 8, and then you continue this 29 more times. So make sure you follow your directions. I've done 7 repeats on this pattern, so I still have 22 more to go. So I'll see you when I get to 29 repeats. Have fun. Hope you don't make mistakes like I did and have to start over. Okay, for the pattern it says to repeat 29 times, but what I did is I did it 23 times because I thought it was going to be too big and I just want to make a scarf. But if you want to make the shawl, then go ahead and do the 29 repeats, okay? So just make sure that you mark them down, and again, I'm just showing you how I do it. This is my directions, and all I did was write it down because it's just a little easier for me to see if I do it like that. And then I just do round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then how many times I'm doing it. So I've done them, you know, I want to do it 23 times because I did the increase 23 times. So you have to do the decrease in the same amount of rounds. So what I do is I just mark it like this. So these are row 1 through 8, and this is how many times I've done the decrease so far. I've only done them 2 times. I just finished my row 8, and I'm just going to check that off. So I've done 2 already of the 23. So I have 2 check marks, 2 check marks here, round 1, round 2, and I did them all in that order. So I hope that makes sense to you, but if you have a different method of keeping track, then that's great. I am a beginner, and this is how I am doing it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start now again with row 1. So I'm just going to show you how to do that. And again, please refer to the directions. I'm linking the pattern from Premier Yarns. It's in the description box, but I am using this beautiful hobby yarn that they sent me, and it is just beautiful. And I know the yarn seems a little pricey because it's in a foreign country, but honestly, it's worth it. I mean, it's so soft and beautiful, and I just think it's gorgeous. So check out their website. I don't get paid for the link or anything. They did send me the yarn for free, so I just wanted to let you know that. And if you want to purchase it, just wait for it to go on sale, because they do have some good sales on that website. So just to make sure that you know, this is the Hobby Yarn and the Premier Yarns pattern. So, and Hobby Yarns actually has some very beautiful patterns too. So for row 1, you're just going to slip purlwise. So you slip your stitch off and pull it nice and tight right here. And then you're just going to knit all the way across until you get 4 stitches before your marker. Okay, so go ahead and do that, and then once I get to the stitches that are before the marker, I will show you how to work the lace on the end. Okay, so I've stopped 4 stitches before my marker, and then what I'm going to do is I am going to knit 3 together. So it's a little trickier than the 2 that you've been doing, but you just have to go into 3 stitches like that, and then just knit those together. Whoops. And you kind of have to work it a little bit, slide it off, and then I like to pull that down and straighten out the back part of the 3 stitches. Then you're going to do like you've done before, yarn over, go into the back loop of that stitch before the marker and knit, and then you're going to slip your marker. Then you're going to knit 2 stitches, so 1, 2, yarn over, and knit the last 2 stitches. There we go. And then I make sure to go to my list and I mark off that one. So I know I've done 3 rounds already. I'm starting my 3rd repeat, so I put a check there. So rows 2, 4, and 6, you just knit all the way across, and you'll see that in the pattern. And then just go ahead and knit all of these stitches until you get to the end, and then I'll show you how to do row 3. Okay, so I am checking off row 2, and we're going on to row 3. So for row 3, again, you're going to do just like you did the first row. You're going to slip purlwise, and then you're going to knit across until you get 4 stitches before the marker. So this is pretty easy, right? I think you could do this. I'm a beginner, so if you are a beginner, I think you could do this. If you've been knitting for about 6 months like me, I think you could probably handle this pattern. So anyway, they say it's an intermediate pattern, but as long as you can read it properly, I don't think you're going to have any problems. Okay, so I'm coming up to 4 stitches before my marker. So there's the 4. You're going to knit 3 together because we're decreasing. Get that in there like that. and then you're going to yarn over, go into the back loop of that stitch and knit. Take your marker to this side. Okay, then you're going to knit 3. 1, 2, 3, yarn over and knit 2. 4. So for row 4, you are just going to knit all the way across. So that's an easy one. And then once I get to the end, then we will start row 5. So let's move on to row 5. And for row 5, it's going to start just like all the other rows. You are going to slip purlwise and then knit until you get to the 4th stitch before your marker. So that took me 3 minutes to get across that row, and that is great. So hopefully you're able to get across each row pretty quickly as well. And for row 5, what you're going to do is you're going to knit 3 together, because again we're decreasing, so all of these rows, they seem very repetitive, but that's because they are, but the lace pattern is worked a little differently for each row. Then you're going to yarn over in that last stitch before the marker, knit into the back loop and slip your marker. And then what you're going to do is you're going to knit 2, 1, 2, yarn over, knit 2 together, and then yarn over and knit 2. There we go. Now we're moving on to row 6, and as you know, 2, 4, and 6, they're all knitted all the way across. So just for row 6, you're going to knit all the way across. Okay, so I just wanted to share with you that I did make a mistake. So if you happen to make a mistake and you need to take out your yarn, if you need to take out your stitches, this is how you're going to do it. So you're going to, I don't know, I've taken so many stitches out over the last 6 months. I guess that's part of learning. So if you're learning too, you need to know this. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull your yarn and you're going to open up the space. So then you just put the needle in there and you push your stitch right off. And you take it and put it to the back. You're going to see the hole right there. You're just going to go right in there, slide that off, and bring the yarn to the back. Put the hole in there, put the needle in the hole where the yarn is coming out, and slide that to the back. So if you can see this right here, so the yarn is coming out underneath from the back, so you're going to want to go right into the hole and slide it off. Now the reason that I have to do this is because I made a mistake and I did not do the lace part properly for row 3. So I'm just taking this off so I can go back and correct my mistake. So this is the ugly part of knitting or crocheting or anything you do, taking out what you just spent a while doing. So make sure that you don't let those slip off and just take them off very carefully. There we go. And then I'm just going to put this back on that one, and then I'm going to take off this lacy part, and then I am going to redo that part, but you'll see the correct part. I just wanted to give you this little tip on how to take out your stitches in case you make a mistake like I did. Oh yeah, this is a little tricky too at the beginning, so you really have to open up those stitches to see where the thread is coming from, or the yarn. So right there. And wrap that around, and there you go. Now you can start over. We are on row 7, and that is the same story as the other rows that you started. And knit all the way across until you are 4 stitches before your marker. Same thing as we've been doing for all of those other odd rows. Okay, so I'm 4 stitches before my marker. This is row 7, and what you're going to do is you're going to knit 3 together. Nope. Okay, I caught something in there. Okay, so you're going to knit 3 stitches together, just like you've done on all the other rows. Yarn over, knit in the back loop of that stitch, slip your marker, and then what you're going to do here is you're going to knit 3, 1, 2, 3, then you're going to yarn over, you're going to knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2. And don't knit these together. Sometimes I have done that and I've had to take them out, so just be careful on that last row. So now we're on our final row, row 8. So for row 8, you're going to do like you did before. You're on the other row 8 when you increased, but we're decreasing. So row 8, you're going to bind off 4 stitches. So just like you did on all the other rows. So there's 1, 2, 3. Hopefully I'm not going too fast for you. And then 4. So that's 4 stitches you bound off, and then you're going to knit to the end. So 1, 2, 3. So you'll have 4 stitches here, and then you're just going to slip and then knit all the way across. So that gives you your point. Let me just show you that real quick. And there is your point for your lace. After you get to the end of row 8, then you're just going to start over with your row 1 repeat, and you're just going to repeat this pattern a total of 29 times, whatever your pattern says. Again, I am doing 23 repeats because I want it as a scarf, not as a shawl. Oh, actually, I'll show you when we get to the end, when we have to bind off the last stitches, okay? So that last row will be a little bit different on row 7 when we get to the last repeat. So just keep knitting, have fun. I've enjoyed knitting this pattern, and it's just been a pleasure. So I am very happy with how it's turning out, and I will show you what this looks like when we get to the end of the last repeat. So make sure that you read your directions, because there is a little variation on row 7 when you get to the last repeat. Okay, so we are at the very end, and I forgot to film this portion of the last row on row 7. So make sure that you follow the directions on row 7 right here, because you need to have 7 stitches left on your needle. And when you're doing row 7, what you're going to do, instead of how you normally would slip 1 and then knit to 4 stitches before your marker, you're going to slip 1 and knit 3 together, and then you'll follow the directions. to the end. And there's only 7 stitches that remain. All you're gonna do is knit across all these 7 stitches. And then you're almost finished. Isn't this beautiful? I just love this scarf or shawl, whichever size you decide to make. It is just gorgeous. So let me go ahead and slip that marker off. Just like that. And then you're just going to go ahead and bind off. There's your 7 remaining stitches after you knitted that row. And then I'm going to bind off, and let me show you the other end. So here is the beginning. So it will look similar to that, I'm assuming, since I haven't made this before, but there's the point, and then you're just going to bind off right here. So it should match very well. Okay, I'm going to bind off. So all I'm going to do is knit 2. Here come our gardeners, if you can hear that. I'm sorry, it's a loud truck. Go ahead and just bind off. So I'll show you this at the end because I'm sure most of you know how to do this. And the lawnmower is going to be starting. Here they go. There it is. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure you check out the directions at premieryarns.com. I'll put a link in the description box for the pattern, and I will see you in my next video. God bless you guys.